Five, four, three. Hi, everybody. Dugroz here with Dugroz Reports. Welcome to my Saturday morning live stream. Today is Saturday, December the 27th, 2025, and I'm reporting live from a rental house in Arizona, the Tucson area. I am on Christmas vacation right now, visiting relatives on my wife's side of the family here in Arizona. If you wonder why the background's different, so this is the setup we got today. I have no other options for the lighting or the sound, so I apologize. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I realize it's less than ideal. I actually brought an external microphone, but I forgot the adapter that switches from USB-C to USB-A, so can't use it. So all I have is my MacBook with the built-in microphone and the Wi-Fi, and I'm set up here in a little den room to get out of the way because my brother-in-law's family is getting ready to head out today. Let's see who's on board. We got John from John's Credit and Travel. Not only is he here, he drops a $2 super chat. Thanks so much, John. Celebrate. Hey, I appreciate it. There's Jesus Christ feeding the algorithm. Tom Graber's here and gifts one membership. Celebrate. Thanks so much, Tom. I really appreciate it. DEM says greetings and salutations. My mouse is running a little bit poorly here, so let me wipe down the table. I've got my computer on a stack of 4 books on a table that's about this big, so I don't have a lot of room to work with. And says technically 13 minutes late, but what's 3 minutes amongst friends? Nick says he's here, boys. Thanks for being here, Nick. Here's Ian. Let's go. Thanks for being a diehard. Kevin Hawthorne says good morning from Lakeland, Florida. Awesome. Ian says, Arizona, wow, I'm hitting the snowblower here in New England today. Oh, bummer. Kevin can hear me. That's good. Jimmy Duff says, good morning. Juan from MIA is here. Good morning, Dugroz and everyone. And Spartan of Finance also says, good morning, Santa Groz. Thank you. Appreciate that, Dad. All right. Well, hey, 26 people on board. Thank you so much. If you have not already done so, go ahead and click the thumbs up button, and that'll drive more people in here to watch. I'm going to go ahead and start the way I always do with a couple of Dugroz data points. This is anything around the world of cashback, points, miles, etc., that I personally find to be interesting. In fact, that's pretty much all we've got going on today. Today is nothing but data points. There is no theme of the day. I just call it Hodgepodge. So we've got a mixture of different things happening. And I've got 2 weeks to catch up on because I did not have a live yesterday as I was preparing to spend the holidays with family members. So let's go ahead and catch up and just see what happens here. First data point, this is on my Sapphire Reserve. You might remember I have a Sapphire Reserve and it renewed in my case with the old annual fee of $550. So I'm kind of like, let's give it a try. I found an actual useful use for the StubHub credit. So have you heard of the group Dude Perfect? My 2 boys are really into Dude Perfect and they're coming to Des Moines next year. So booked tickets for that, 4 tickets to be specific, myself, my 2 boys, and a friend. And the friend's dad is reimbursing me. So even though I spent $243 net, it's only going to be around $180, about $60 each. And what do you know? The StubHub credit posted just a couple days later, back actually the same day it changed from pending to a posted transaction. $150. Another helpful thing about this data point is I had wondered, it says in the fine print it works on both StubHub and Viagogo. If it would actually work on Viagogo, and it did. I don't know why, but Viagogo was like $6 cheaper per ticket, so I went with that. So yeah, on a net basis, I only spent like 30-ish bucks out of pocket, something like that. So that worked out pretty well. Apparently Viagogo is the parent company of StubHub. For some reason, they're 2 separate companies. I don't know why that is, but it is. So be it. Let's see here. Already got that comment. And John likes Santa Groz. Awesome. Jason YT is here. Merry Christmas, Dugroz. Reminder for all to hit the like and subscribe. Yes, thank you. I would appreciate that. Vincent Pascal is here. Not only is he here, celebrates 16 months of membership. Whoa, celebrate. Thank you, Vincent. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Sweet. Thank you. I've got a couple of data points from you a little later in the show if you hang in there. All right, let's go back to sharing the screen and the data points here. Because I've only got one screen, normally I have two monitors going, one of which is big. I'm a little clunkier than usual. I apologize. Speaking of the Chase Sapphire Reserve, there are reports coming in. This one's hat tip of Doctor of Credit. Some people are getting a $400 retention offer on the Chase Sapphire Reserve. So that $795 annual fee, that's a little more tolerable, basically getting half of it back. This is a your mileage may vary situation. So you have to call in once your annual fee is posted within that 30-day window to get it refunded or get it back. And they may give it to you, they may not. It just is a your mileage may vary situation. But I think it would become worth it for me. If I got a $400 retention offer, I think my odds of keeping it would go up quite a lot. Let me know if you got that retention offer. I see 34 people on board. Keep on clicking the like button. Yuri G is here. Good to see you this morning, Yuri. I've got some personal data points mixed in. I got order number 66 at Culver's. Why is order 66 important? Well, see I'm shooting lightning out of my fingers in the background. Execute order 66. Star Wars reference for those of you who may not know. This data point isn't really a new data point. It's just a reminder that right now there is a 25% bonus going on from Chase over to Aeroplan between now and January 5th. It's up to 25% because it depends on the amount you transfer. We'll ignore that lowest tier. The middle tier starts at $75,000. You get a 20% bonus. And at $175,000, you get a 25% bonus. I would probably do that middle tier if I did it. Plus, with the Aeroplan credit card, which I have, you get a 30% bump up. So it actually would be effectively 30%. And then you can redeem your points with 25% more efficiency. So that's the equivalent of 1.625. However, for whatever reason, I don't know why, excuse me, let me take that back. For a good reason, and I know why, I don't think you should do this prior to the new year. I think since it goes until January 5th, if you're even considering it, I would wait until January 2nd or 3rd to see what happens. The reason why is because, and if you're a diehard, one of my channel members, you would already know this. I did a video on this subject. If you go to the Aeroplan app right now and try to redeem on travel, basically what happens is, excuse me, I'm going to have to figure out where the mute button is here. Sorry about that. Had to blow my nose. You will notice that the expiration for how long you can use your points on travel ends on December 31st. Now, we don't know, is that just a weird technological thing and it'll all reset on the first of the year? Or is Chase actually shutting down the ability to get that 25% boost up on January 1st? We don't know. So Yuri asked that very question. Any news of an extension of Pay Yourself Back? Nope. Not that I'm aware of. Just trying to give a little bit of a public service announcement, if that makes sense. So here's Ian saying, it won't let me super chat, so I went to the tip jar today. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I do see there is a tip here from Screw YouTube for $3. So I'm going to assume that's you, Ian. Thank you. Celebrate, celebrate. If you're not sure what Ian's talking about, if you want to support my channel in a less traditional manner, you can go to the tip jar. If you look in the description box of this video, the very first URL is to the tip jar. And that's a way you can donate funds to me that doesn't flow through YouTube. There's a couple reasons you might want to do that. One is because maybe you want me to get more money on a net basis. YouTube takes somewhere around 30, 40, 50%, depending on a variety of factors, whereas tip jar only takes 2 or 3%. So I get more of the money with the tip jar. Also, if you want to be anonymous, there is an anonymous option to give that way. So I mentioned that my diehards were already aware of the information with Aeroplan because I'd already done a members only video. And that transitions nicely into my shameless plug. So I do have channel memberships. It's called a Dugroz Die Hard. It's my one and only channel membership. It's $3 a month. Cancel anytime. Just click the join button on any of my videos. And in return, you will get access to over 60 members only videos. And I'm a little more likely to engage with you in discussions and those kind of things if you are a diehard. Plus my normal videos, which I realize there aren't as many as you might want, do generally release about a day early for the diehards. Plus, if you just like my content, it's a nice thing to do. So find the join button. If you join while this live stream is going, I'll give you a little celebration. Other ways to support me are a super chat or a super sticker. Anything's appreciated. My normal offer of if you donate exactly $1.49 as it shows on the screen, I'll give you 1,000 Dugroz points applies. So thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let me catch up here. Already mentioned that. Yep. Okay, Yuri says, I did a transfer of $75K to Aeroplan. The next day, Mesa was shut down, and I transferred another $135K. Whoa. Bad timing. Yeah, that Mesa thing was bad news. Hey, George Rommel drops a super sticker for $4.99. Thanks so much, George. Celebrate. Really appreciate it. Uncle Luke's here. What's up, Douglas? Hope you and the family had a great Christmas. Likewise, I hope you did too, Luke. Thank you so much. I'm in a vacation rental in Arizona. I'm trying hard not to say Airbnb because this was booked through the Chase travel site, 5X on vacation rentals. No, I said that wrong. The Capital One travel site. I wasn't able to find this one on Airbnb. There aren't many locations close to where my in-laws live, but we got this one. It's not really part of my like rip tip trips and travel because we all chipped in and, I only paid my proportionate part. The in-laws paid some, my brother-in-law's family paid some. So it's not really a rip trip. It's sort of like a family. I would have gone here if I hadn't done points and miles, but hey, 5X, that's not bad. Yuri says, I need miles on Aeroplan in order to spend 100K to get first class on LH. That's Lufthansa, right? I think that sounds right. Yeah, and if you spend a certain amount with Aeroplan, you get a better status. Luke says hi to John, or John says hi to Luke is what I should have said. 36 people. We're lagging behind a little. Maybe it's because there's not a very exciting theme of the day today. Maybe that's why. So any support is appreciated. Let me pull up the next data point here and see what's we got. So we're trying to stay along the lines of Chase type stuff here. Am I sharing the right screen? I am now. Okay, so there was a data point that came out on December 12th. Chase Ritz-Carlton is going to restrict guest lounge access starting in 2026. 2 weeks ago when I last did a live, somebody mentioned this, but I don't believe I had a graphic ready to go. And basically right now, the Ritz-Carlton card, which I want to get, I'm already on my path. I should be able to upgrade late summer next year from my Bonvoy card to this guy. Gives you unlimited Priority Pass lounge guests as well as Chase's own lounges. So that's going to be changing starting in the new year. I don't remember the exact date. Does it tell us here in the text? I have another text here. Chase has sent out an email to all cardholders informing the guest tax be changing on January 15th. Share the right screen here, Doug. It says, starting January 15th, card members may enter a Chase Sapphire Lounge or Priority Pass with up to 2 guests for no charge. Any additional guest is $27 each. I thought, well, that is a devaluation. In my case, it only affects me a little bit. I've got a family of 4, so I would just pay the extra $27. That's still not terrible for a Chase Lounge. But then somebody dropped a comment that was very helpful. It was this comment from 218 in the house who said, I'm not sure if anybody said it, but don't forget you don't need to pay $27 for your family for Ritz card lounge access. Just make your family free authorized users. Comes with its own Priority Pass. So yeah, not sure if they allow minors to be authorized users, but either way, I could make my wife an authorized user. She could use her own. I could use mine plus the 2 boys to get in. In theory, we could get in 6 people, her plus 2 guests, me plus 2 guests. If I'm thinking about that correctly, if anybody else has data points on that, by all means, please speak up and let us know. Catching up on comments a little bit here. Yuri says, Lufthansa first was great. I already flew it 2 times on the A340-600 and the 747-8. Sweet. That's cool. You must be talking about Lufthansa then, because they're the only ones that still fly the 747. I flew business class on Lufthansa last summer. That was pretty good. Yuri says, I need to try it on the A380. Yep, that's what we have. KC says, I just joined the live stream. I live in Tucson. Welcome. I'm glad to be here. Maybe as I drive through town, I'll wave at you on the way out. MR is here. How you doing, MR? Says, I sent a tip, but forgot to put my name. Oops. Well, I can probably figure it out. Let's just take a quick look here, and we can all celebrate together. There it is. So somebody named Tipper gave $20. I'm going to assume that's you, MR. Thank you. Celebrate. Thanks so much. And then I see over here that Juan Garcia dropped $5 saying, thank you all for the great content and insight you provide. Many blessings to you and your family and a prosperous 2026. Well, hey, thanks. That's really sweet, Juan. Appreciate it. Right back at you. And celebrate for you as well. Here, DEM drops $4.99. Thank you, DEM. I really appreciate that. Celebrate. Hey, we're doing great here. We're up to 46 people, so if you haven't done so, keep on clicking the thumbs up button. Tom says, I got a letter in the mail from Chase about this, saying that the guest restriction starts on January 15th. Yep, okay. Thanks for confirming. Nick says, if Cap One lets Uncle Luke's Carlos be an authorized user as Venture X, I don't see why Chase would have an issue with the Ritz. I don't know. I did have a card, I can't remember which issuer it was, where I tried to add one of my kids as an authorized user, and it said authorized users have to be at least 18. Actually, I think it was American Express, and it was as an employee. They wouldn't allow employee cards on their business stuff to be a kid. It had to be an adult. Timote is here and says, happy holidays, Timote. Glad to see you. Luke says different issuers have different rules. I know my kids were able to be authorized user on U.S. bank cards, at least. Let's keep plowing ahead here with various data points. Not really a data point per se, but just a personal thing. So I believe I mentioned 2 weeks ago that I had applied for and was approved for the City Strata Elite. Or maybe I applied after the live stream was over and just did a public post announcing it. So yes, it's true. All of it I have applied for and been approved for the Strata Elite. In fact, I'll hold the card up in honor of John. There's the Strata Elite right there. Yep, just proving that I have it. It doesn't sound very metallic. It sounds kind of plasticky when you drop it. I accidentally dropped it on the floor at Wendy's, and because it didn't make a metallic noise, the minimum wage part-time employee was not very impressed. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, I do have the City Strata Elite now, and I've just kind of gotten started on it. The reason why you see one transaction here for State Farm Insurance is because that was the first transaction I made, and then I screenshotted it. One nice thing is they did give me the option to add it to Apple Pay as soon as I got approved. I didn't have to wait for the card to arrive, so I made a couple purchases through Apple Pay in that way. And no, my car insurance is not $22 a month. I wish. It's just that I'd paid with a different method and then had a small partial balance left over. Another interesting thing is it gives you this little advertisements when City Nights is on. City Nights. Have you ever seen those City Nights? Which should be starting later today. Here's a picture of me using it at a restaurant here in the Des Moines area called Jethro's Barbecue. And the only downside is it was lunch on a Saturday. But hey, it's going towards my sign-up bonus. So I don't think I'll have any problem hitting that sign-up bonus. It is a little disappointing with City Nights because my family doesn't eat out on Friday nights and Saturday nights very much. Most of our dining out is actually lunchtime. My boys and I go out for lunch with a friend almost every Saturday. Not every Saturday, but almost every Saturday. So, yeah, working on the 100,000 point sign-up bonus with that. Here is a data point shared by diehard and friend of the channel, Ron B., who applied for the Strata Elite on the exact same day that I did because he was messaging me on Discord. Remember where I said if you're a Discord, I'm a little more likely to engage in conversation? Ron says, well, I got bit by City's fraud program. I tried to use Tap to Pay for $200 at Best Buy for the splurge credit. It was declined as fraud because the card was new. I couldn't verify using my phone number or my wife's phone number. I had Tap to Pay on both phones. For some reason, they could not text a code to my work cell phone. Now they're going to snail mail me a letter to unlock my card. I couldn't provide any other security question answers to unlock it. social security number, birthday, etc., to get it unlocked over the phone. And I thought to myself, yep, that sounds like the kind of thing Citi would do. Like when I had that problem with a closed bank account, and if I didn't read off my debit card number in full or my account number, they would not give me account access. I'm like, ask me anything. Nope. Sorry, you have to drive to a branch or something like that. Anyway, just kind of an interesting thing there. And then I'll go ahead and finish up my thoughts on the Citi Strata Elite before I catch up on comments. There is a splurge credit. I wasn't 100% sure if Best Buy online would trigger it, if we had to go to one in person like Ron did. So I tried it for half. You'll see I bought something at Best Buy right here for $100. Went to Who Hot's Mongolian Grill the night before. Unfortunately, we went on a Sunday night, so I still didn't get Citi nights. Sorry. Best Buy online, $100, and sure enough, on Christmas morning, the splurge credit posted. So I'll do another $100 on bestbuy.com. Probably just buy an Amazon gift card or Best Buy gift card or something, Taco Bell gift card. I don't know. But yeah, it does work for Best Buy online. Remember, you do have to activate and select your splurge credits before doing it, probably like a day in advance. And then even more to go along with that, Doctor of Credit says your mileage may vary, but some people are getting an email that gives you $5 or $10 as rewards at Best Buy. My Best Buy account's hooked up to my work email, for better or worse. So I have to wait till I get back to work on Tuesday before I can check this. But I'm going to see if I have that, because it'd be cool if I could use my splurge credit and get $5 or $10 off at once. So check your email to see if you have an email from Best Buy giving you $5 or $10 off a Best Buy purchase. And I don't know, it might be one of those things where it says something like gift cards aren't included. But as we all know, a lot of times it doesn't know how to not include it. As I think through how I'm going to triple dip my credits, because I didn't sign up for it till mid-December, there's also that hotel credit with the CSE. And help me out, folks. I can't remember. Is it $300 off 2 nights or more? Or is it $200 off 2 nights or more? I was looking it up when the live stream started and I ran out of time. Here is a Hyatt Regency connected to the Pittsburgh Airport in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. If you go through Hyatt, it's 12,000 points per night. If you pay cash, it's $214 per night. So it's still better to pay with points in the sense that you're getting more than 1 cent per point. But let's just say hypothetically it was this all-in total of $484. I could take something off of that. Now, the reason why I'm thinking about Pittsburgh is I've bantied about the idea, and I'd like feedback from you guys, of doing a miniature meetup in Wheeling, West Virginia this coming April. The downside and the possible hiccup is that Wheeling, West Virginia does not have an airport. So the closest airport is Pittsburgh. So if you don't live within driving distance, you'd have to fly into Pittsburgh or like Charlottesville, Virginia, or something like that, and then drive to Wheeling. I think it's about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive from the Pittsburgh airport. So would you do a meetup where you have to drive a little bit, or would you not? I'm trying to gauge interest right now to see if that's something people would want to do or not. And if it is, maybe I'll lock in my 2 nights off credit for that. DEM confirms that it is $300 off 2 nights or more. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me catch up on comments here just a little bit. Yuri says, I gave my daughter the Ritz authorized user card with his own priority pass. Okay. Luke says, Carlos has a National Federal Credit Union card and a Capital One and Robinhood Gold. Awesome. Tom Graber said, you missed something on my post. Look closely at the date, January 15th, 2025, 2025. Okay. Which post are we referencing, Tom? I sincerely apologize. I can't remember what it is. January 15th, 2025. 25. Okay. That's in the past. Sorry, I'm still not picking up what you're laying down. I really apologize. Yuri has 3 CSEs. DEM says, as a premium feel to me, heavier than the platinum. It is heavier. Just, I wish it made a cooler noise. It just sounds plasticky. Ian says, I'm gonna. You're gonna do what? DM says, Yuri, are you gonna product change the custom cash after 1 year? Nick says, I can't flex on the Wendy's employees without the CSC automatic F tier card. Exactly. Yuri will probably convert to his 17th custom cash. Dem says, probably doing the same year. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen with the Prestige. Too much redundancy between the two, and I think Prestige is better. As far as keeper cards, I tend to agree with you. John says, thank goodness I've never had to pull out the City Strata Preferred in Iceland last week. I did tell them I was traveling before I left, but I was still cringing if I had to pull it out. Yeah, I'm traveling now. I mean, in a sense, staying for family. Capital One Saver card has come in handy multiple times. I don't think I captured any screenshots of that. So let me just go ahead and do it right now. I will just describe it with my words. Came in handy more than I thought it would. First of all, I don't think Capital One's quite as sensitive about locking down your cards while you're away from your home state as City is. So I bought bottled water at the airport. That coded as dining. We stopped at Wendy's on the way home from the airport. That coded as dining. Oh, I guess I didn't use my CSC at Wendy's. I used my Capital One Saver. We went to a dinner theater in Tucson called the Gaslight Theater. And it's like you watch a theatrical show while eating. It's kind of, really hokey melodrama, but it's a lot of fun. And I didn't know if it would code as entertainment or if it would code as dining, but then I thought the Saver does both. So yes, I got 3% back on that. And if you're wondering, it did code as dining. Stopped at Fry's twice, which is a grocery store here in Arizona. Don't have any Fry's in Iowa. Coded as groceries both times. So yeah, Saver for the win. And in that sense. Ian says, I'm so mad at myself for not using the CSE last night for a very expensive dinner. Only had the card a few weeks, not used to not having to use the gold. I hear what you have to say there. I mean, I can't really relate to the very expensive dinner. I went to Wendy's for $50, but I understand. Yuri said, I've had a lot of fraud alerts on my Player 2 Amex cards lately because I was spending a lot on gift cards. Well, maybe we should expect that. DEM says, I still don't see Prestige lasting past 2027. We'll see. And he asks Ian, are you going to keep both the gold and the CSC? Already discussed that. Yuri says, the Prestige is definitely better, but the CSC is not bad. I would keep one instead of converting to the Premier. Nuracan's here, says, good morning. Good to see you. Fleet Easley's here. Hey, we're over 50 people. Keep clicking the thumbs up button. I appreciate it. Fleet says, as far as the meetup, I'd be down for a mini meetup that's closer to a regional airport. 2-hour drive is a little rough. I got you there. John says, Premier. I knew what you meant. Tom says, sorry, the letter from Chase about the Ritz Unlimited guest is ending January 15th, 2025. This date is long past. Oh, okay. Share this tab. Well, it is old information. Maybe I just said it wrong. I'm catching up on 2 weeks worth of stuff, so I apologize for that. We said that. Yuri says, I checked Wheeling. It's a 7-hour drive for me. Yuri says, I can also visit my friend in Columbus on the way. Hey, there you go. James V is here. How you doing? Thanks for feeding the algorithm. Dad on a mission is here. Stacy's Travel Point says, happy holidays, Dugroz, and everyone else watching too. Thanks, Stacy. Appreciate it. Happy holidays to you as well. All right, so I finished the CSE line of data. Let's move on to something else now. Whether or not this is new information, I honestly don't know, but I'm going to present it anyway. Frequent Miler says there's a Preferred Hotels promo. You can earn 1,000 bonus points when joining I Prefer with the code LMEDEC25. Preferred Hotels is that loose-knit confederation of different hotels that transfers from transfers from city 1 to 4. So isn't available everywhere. There's not a very big footprint, but when it's good value, it's good value. I got it for over 3 cents per point when I stayed at the Salamander Resort 2 years ago on the outskirts of Washington, D.C. I already am part of Preferred Hotels, but hey, if you're thinking about joining, now seems like a good time to sign up. Ian answers Dem saying, yes, I use the CSE for 1.5x on gold at Costco, and I use the gold card for groceries. I max the 25K each year with my job organically. Cool. Stacy says, I'll be staying at I Prefer Hotel in January. Santa Monica looks luxurious. Hey, come back and let us know how it went. I would appreciate that. Or Stacy has her own channel, so you can go check it out. I'm sure there'll be a review on there. All right, now it's time for the bad news segment. We're going to go through like 4 or 5 bad news things all in a row here. Again, this is a little bit old news, but I don't think I'd highlighted it yet. Somebody mentioned in the comments, so I wanted to bring it up. Thank you to Loyalty Lobby. Hat tip to them. Turkish Airlines has devalued their domestic award chart within the U.S., especially to and from Hawaii, and those within Canada may have been in the past reasonably priced using Turkish. These awards are now somewhere between 50% and 167% more expensive. So previously, if you were flying economy with like United, would be the one you'd most likely think of, booking it with miles and smiles, it was $10,000. Now it's going to be $15,000. They've now carved out a special category just from mainland U.S. to Hawaii. Previously, it was part of the same chart. It was $10,000. Now it's $25,000. That's 150% devaluation. Business class is going from $15K to $22,500, and to Hawaii going from $15K to $40K. And if you happen to find first class availability, it's going from $20K to $30K. Hawaii specifically from $20K to $50K. Ouch. Those are some serious devaluations. So I wouldn't say the booking United with Turkish miles trick is dead, but it's got one foot hovering over the grave and the other on a banana peel. Also, 6 months to a year ago, United made it harder to find award space anyway, if not booking with United themselves. So there weren't all that many options anyhow. So it went from almost dead to almost dead. So some bad news on that front. Next piece of bad news, this is from Doctor of Credit. American Express is now requiring social security numbers for authorized users. So we kind of talked about adding an auth user on like your Ritz-Carlton card or something along those lines. It's been possible for quite a while to get an authorized user card on an Amex card without providing the social, and you just have to promise to come back within 60 days and provide it. And if you don't come back within 60 days and provide it, they might close that authorized user card. Of course, for those 60 days, you could meet like one of those mini sign-up bonuses for adding an authorized user. Usually it was 5,000 or 10,000 points after spending so much. Or they could get their own Amex offers. Well, that's not happening anymore. Nowadays, if you want to get an authorized user on an Amex card, you have to provide it at the time that it is added. So no more shenanigans like that with Amex. I'm surprised that hadn't happened quite a long time ago. Nick says that Turkish devaluation stinks, but flying out of a regional airport, if I can find a way to use British Airlines with American or Virgin land for Delta, it's really awful times and days. I think I know what you mean. Also living in kind of a regional airport or a small state airport, if I can't find ways to use British or Virgin, something like that, and those are hard to find because it's only certain days, certain routes, certain times. I've noticed a lot of times it'd be like, let's say that I want to use Virgin to book Delta, and they've got the exact flight I want going to Atlanta, Des Moines to Atlanta at 3:00 in the afternoon on a Monday. But I go to book with Virgin, and there's only one flight that day, and it's actually like Des Moines to Detroit, Detroit to Atlanta. It's like, no, that's not what I want, or something along those lines. Yuri says, why are you not using the CDC for Costco instead of CSE? Let's see. Double cash is what he's thinking. Maybe he's working on a sub. I don't know. Nuracan says, I did product change my US Bank Altitude Reserve to a Connect and the Smartly to an Altitude Go. I don't see you using either card until US Bank announces how their transfer partners are going to be and work. If they actually end up having any, because right now it says we might have transfer partners or something like that. So yeah, I'm with you. But hey, those are both no annual fee cards. So it's kind of, very, very, very little risk in keeping them out there. Yuri says, I was using Alaska via British to fly to Hawaii from the West Coast. It was the cheapest way to get there. Awesome. So you booked with British on Alaska. 72 people on board. Keep smashing the thumbs up button. I'm a little uncomfortable because this isn't a proper desk. It's like just a little table. So if you see me squirming, I apologize. In fact, probably once I get through data points, I'm going to go sit on the couch. That'll be a little easier. Well, looky here. Who has jumped on board? It's Filmo, who's been a member for 25 months. Celebrate, celebrate. Thanks so much, Filmo, for being a dedicated member. He says, I can't watch live. I hope you had a great holiday, Doug. I did. Thanks. I hope you and your family did as well, Filmo. All right, continuing on with the bad news segment. You've probably heard this by now, but Chase the Edit, hot tip to frequent miler here. They are devaluating their 2 cent per point bookings. Those are no longer guaranteed. There will be some. Now, basically, what the headline says is 2 cent per point bookings will be honored through December 22nd, which we're already past, and they're rethinking the edit, whether or not it's worth it. So basically what this says is when the edit first came out, it said that those are always going to be available with point boost, and their point boost will be 2 cents per point when it's available. Now it says up to 2 cents per point, and looking at data points, a lot of people are collected. 1.65 seems to be the most common amount. So if you're hoping to use points boost on something, especially the edit, you can't count on 2 cents per point anymore. It might be 2 cents per point. It might be 1.65. So that's a pretty significant devaluation. That's what, close to a 30% devaluation, something like that? Or maybe, no, 1.65, that'd be 35. It'd be like a 17-ish percent devaluation, but that's still something. So, yeah. Yuri brings us up to date and says, U.S. Bank's webpage now says transfer partners are coming soon. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad that they've changed back to that. We're proud to announce the transfer partner of Aeromexico and Alamo Car Rental. Just those two. Stacy says, ha, I did post in a group and said I was channeling my inner Dugroz and said, celebrate, celebrate. Good, I'm glad, Stacy. Yuri says, I booked the edit and paid the rest with points at 2 cents per point. Yep, and it still has some that are 2 cents per point. It's just not guaranteed to be 2 cents per point anymore. All right, I think that's the end of our bad news segment. This is sort of a head scratcher, though. Frequent miler, hat tip. Built has added Spirit as another transfer partner. So that's from Frequent miler, hat tip to Stephen Pepper. It's 1-to-1, and I've never booked with Spirit. Maybe I flew on Spirit a long time ago before I got into points and miles. I can't remember. There was some airline that flew directly out of Rockford, Illinois, down to Florida that my family took on vacation once. Probably more than 10 years ago. Anyway, the people in the comment section say Spirit tends to be right around 1 cent per point, maybe 1.15 cents per point, which isn't a terrible use of points, but unless they have a transfer bonus, I don't really see this as being anything more than kind of a meh at best proposition. The other thing is, I'm surprised Built agreed to this because a lot of experts are predicting Spirit's not going to be around in a year. They're in bad financial shape. Personally, I would probably not be booking Spirit flights more than about 3 or 4 months in advance. Yuri says transfer partner will be Mesa for US Bank. Nick says, I'm really interested in how Chase does the CSP refresh. I mean, it can't be any worse than the CSR, right? You know, I don't think the CSR refresh was super ultra terrible by the time we got to the end result, especially with the $250 thing where if you book particular hotels, you get a credit, being allowed to use the edit back-to-back starting next year. But man, their rollout was terrible. Yuri says the property I booked now is at 1.65 cents per point. Bummer. Nick says, I might be bougie, but if I have to fly Spirit, I'd rather just not take the trip. Laughing emoji. Hey, to each their own. You can travel however you want. That's one of the best things about this game. All right, I think we're done with bad news or annoying news or meh news for a while. Let's go into some personal stuff that I observed here. So 2 weeks ago, I did have a pretty high number of viewership. I saw it go over 100. I wasn't sure what it was, but I hit a new record for concurrent viewers on a live stream. The new record is now 108. Celebrate, celebrate. Based on our current viewership, doesn't look like I'm going to be getting there anytime soon, but that's where it's at. Got to lower the chair here a little bit. It's really starting to hurt my leg. So thank you to those of you who helped me get up over 108 or right at 108 concurrent viewers 2 weeks ago. Dad on a Mission's been a member for 12 months. Awesome. Thank you, Dad. Celebrate. Got to go into work. I'll catch the replay. QC Man has also been a member for a long time. 21 months. Celebrate. Ask this. Ever flown Spirit, Frontier, or Allegiant, Doug? I have flown Allegiant several times because they fly out of Des Moines. Flown to the Sanford Airport in the Orlando area. I've flown to the Mesa Airport in the Phoenix area. And I think I flew to like St. Petersburg, PIE once. I don't know that I've ever flown Frontier. I don't remember flying them ever. And Spirit, I'm not sure. If anybody can look and see if Spirit flies out of Rockford, Illinois. I took some airline from Rockford down to Florida like 10, 15 years ago. Boy, my butt and hips are killing me sitting in this office chair. So I'm going to go sit on the couch now and bring the computer with me. Let's see how that goes. A little bit of repositioning here. Sorry about that. Got to move my plate over. All right. Oof. Okay. Sorry if this makes a loud noise. Don't fall down, computer. All right. We are now engaging casual Dugroz mode. Shove that cushion right behind my back. Okay. That's a little better. Yuri says that I flew Allegiant for the first time recently, and it was not bad. They didn't charge me for my huge backpack. That's good. And Source King has arrived. How you doing, Source King? I went to a $1,800 dinner before Christmas with 6 friends. Put it on my Amex Gold, and everyone Venmo'd me their share within 48 hours. Sweet MR points. Oh, that's awesome. How do I get into things like that? Although I really don't. 1,800 divided by 6 is still $300 if my math is correct. So I don't really want to pay $300 myself, but I would like the points. Can I just go with your friends, wait in the parking lot, and call me in when it's time to pay the bill? Quality Control Man says, great move, Source King, and I completely agree with that. Let me know if you can still hear me okay, even though I've switched to lounging mode. I might have to pull the laptop onto my lap pretty soon. I mean, it is called a laptop. This is a personal data point also. So I have the U.S. Bank Triple Business Cash Rewards card, and I've got $32.76 in rewards right now. When I click on rewards, I had never noticed this before. So let me know if this is a new data point or just I forgot. Under the earnings part, it says 3% cash back at gas and EV charging stations. Okay. On transactions of $200 or less. It's the $200 or less part that I'd never noticed before. Now, that's not that big of a deal because I'm, generally not putting more than $200 of gas in my car at one time. But it could be a big deal in a couple of situations. One is if you go into a gas station and try to buy a gift card with this guy to get 3% cash back. And I don't know, it's not specific enough here if they would cap your rewards out at a $200 equivalent, or if you spend more than $200, it doesn't earn any rewards at all. But either way, I don't love that idea. Secondly, if you're like a over-the-road truck driver, putting in a $200 plus tank of gas is really not out of the equation. I think I talked to an over-the-road truck driver once who said that he spent between $40,000 and $60,000 a year on gas, and that might even be on the low side because he just kind of drove a regional route. So, yeah, just a heads up if you have the U.S. Bank U.S. Bank Triple Cash Business Credit Card, don't spend more than $200 in one transaction at a gas station or you won't earn full rewards. Stacy wants to know if that's where I'm from, Rockford. No, I'm not from Rockford, but I have my sister and her family live in the far northwest suburbs of Chicago. Like if you know where Crystal Lake is, it's kind of in that general area. Not exactly, but that general area. So it was almost the same distance to fly out of Rockford as it was O'Hare. And Rockford had free parking and a direct flight on whatever this discount airline was. She says, I think that's where the Japanese gardens are. When my son proposed to his now wife, we stayed at the downtown at one of those old factories turned hotels. Oh, that's kind of cool. DEM says, which points is everyone valuing the most these days? City thank you points, then Amex MR for me. City's at the top of the heap for me right now. Catch 631 says, not sure if we've gotten this out there yet, but 60 watching, only 33 likes. Hit that like button. We have not got that out there yet. Thank you, Catch. Thanks for being a diehard. Thanks for pointing that out. So if you haven't yet done so, please click the thumbs up button. Boxer is a trucker and has been itching for the Biz Gold. Is Boxer a guy in our community? Because I'm not sure who that reference is, but that sounds like that's probably a valid enough assumption. All right. Next data point here. I don't even remember what this is. Oh, yeah. On my Hilton card, my Hilton Surpass, which is issued by American Express, I've had this Amex offer since like October. Earn on your insurance bill, earn 5% back on purchases up to a total of $20. So 5% cash back on utilities, or excuse me, insurance, plus earning 3 Hilton points on top of it. It's not that bad. I already get 5% back on, or not on insurance, that's utilities. So yeah, I think that's about the best you can do. Caps out at $20, so you want to pay just a little over $400, or right at $400 if possible. That's how the math works out. And hey, looky there, that's exactly what I did down here. Save on your insurance bill, $20. So I got that statement credit. Sometimes I show these little victories like statement credits and like that kind of stuff, because you know that I always try to hit a net zero on my travel. So I use my points, or excuse me, my cash back slush fund where appropriate. So I like to show you how I earn the cash back sometimes, so that you know when I say I dipped into my travel savings account, pulled out $500, where it came from. Comes from stuff like this, plus bank account sign up bonuses, etc., etc., etc. Boxer is pretty active in our community. Well, if you're on board, Boxer, say hi. Yuri says, I value thank you points, then Ultra Rewards, then MR, Wells Fargo, and Capital One, in that order. Jay Brothman says, how are people buying gold at Costco? Is there a way to know when it's available? The cashier says it sells out immediately. Boxer is on these lives a lot. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of vaguely remembering now. I apologize for not remembering previously, Boxer. DEM says, Fleet says to DEM, I'm finding the most utility out of my Atmos miles personally. Built's a close second, but I'm saving those up at the moment. All right. Continuing on with more data points. So speaking of how I'm earning cash back, one way is with a very short-lived offer on an app called OKX. Looks like we're playing Minecraft there. This is a crypto app, and I need to give a hat tip to diehard Ian because he alerted me to this. Back right around Black Friday, I don't remember exactly when, maybe a little bit before Thanksgiving, there was a one-day only thing where you could sign up for OKX. You had to deposit, I think, $200 into their app and then leave it there for at least 30 days, and you get $100 for free. You did also have to make at least one trade, I think of $200 with some sort of crypto. So knowing nothing about crypto, I did, 7 minutes of research and found out there are some extremely stable cryptos, one of which is the PayPal crypto, which is closely tied to the dollar. So I bought that for 2 or 3 days and then sold it to meet that part of the requirement. And after 30 days, my $100 became available. Now, I put a little caveat down here. I added this, $96.45. They did charge somewhere around 4% haircut to buy the crypto. And then I got 45 cents in interest during the 30 days that I held on to it. So I think I signed up on November 17th, somewhere around December 17th, was allowed to withdraw my $100. So there's $96.45 also going into the travel savings account. Relatively quick and easy win. Unfortunately, this deal was only one day. There is another deal if you sign up for like a business account, and I don't know the details of that right now. But I'm just trying to show you examples of how I think about getting like quick and easy cashback bonuses from time to time. I'm still working on my Wings Federal Credit Union sign-up bonus right now. I have to do so many dollars worth of direct deposits. I think use the debit card 5 times or something like that. DEM says to Fleet. I never really got into Atmos and Built, but that could change with Built 2.0 depending on the lineup. Not getting my hopes up. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. And then New Again says, hi, y'all, at Dem. Amex is still the most valuable if you travel internationally, or if one doesn't mind sending points to Hilton and even Marriott. DEM says, Dugroz, you should check out the elevated offers on Rakuten for Kraken. Buy some USDT or USDC. Quick 15,000 MR when the time is right. Okay, I'll keep an eye on that. Kraken or Kraken. So I'm assuming these deals kind of come and go, and you just have to pounce when the time is right. Yuri says, Built's going to be devalued if they transfer to cardless and will probably die the same way as Mesa. My hopes are low at this point. Fleet says to DEM, hot take, the Atmos program is the best single lifestyle program and rewards. Like you can get 25 points per dollar on 1-800-Flowers. Whoa, that is pretty impressive. All right. Moving along here, moving along. It is now time for everyone's favorite game, We Don't Take Amex. So today's 2 entries on We Don't Take Amex are from friend of the channel and diehard, Vincent Pascal, who sent these to me directly. And this first one is at a Filipino bakery, I believe. Looks like it's called Red Ribbon. And right there on the checkout kiosk, it says, sorry, we do not accept American Express cards. And then the second one was from the gift shop in the Vatican City in Rome. Just a sign that clearly shows American Express with a big slash through it. I saw one like that in West Virginia once where it just was like, no, we don't take it. So if you're wanting to do like a super ultra fun thing, you could keep a list of all the countries you've been to that don't take American Express. Even though the Vatican City is only a few square blocks, it is a sovereign nation. So you could say, hey, Vatican City's on the list of countries I've been to where I have proof that they don't take American Express. I just thought that was fun. So yeah, if you want to look me up on Discord, feel free to. I'm on the Anthony Venture Discord as well as the Stack Your Points Discord. Feel free to send me a direct message if you have a cool picture of a place that doesn't take an American Express. And it has to be either a picture or a screenshot. You can't just describe it. Where were we? Let's see. We were talking about Atmos versus Built and that kind of stuff. New Again says, I'm not sure why people are getting excited about Built 2.0. It's going to be costly to get value there. Perhaps. DEM says, to New Again, I agree, although I'm not big on transferring MR to their hotel partners. That's why we fly frequently with Delta. It's easy for top-ups when miles are coming up short. Source King says, yeah, I'm not trusting Build. I'm going hard for their points currently, but the points get transferred to Hyatt as soon as they post. I would get that. The only thing I don't like about Built, I shouldn't say the only thing, something I don't like about Built is that if you don't have status, you have to get 2,000 points before you can transfer out, not just 1,000. DEM says to Fleet, that's crazy. Brian Fellows, Safari Planet. Yuri says, in Germany, they take Amex in most locations, and in Israel, Amex is accepted in most locations. QC Man says, come on, Pope Leo, you got to start accepting Amex now that an American is in charge. That's right, it's American Express, and you're from America. Fleet says, I agree, I'm setting my expectations low for the actual cards, but as a non-Chase player, they're the way I have access to Hyatt. I get you. Hopefully you get on board with Chase at some point in the future, especially now that 524 doesn't seem to be that important. DEM says to Yuri, that's my thoughts as well. The transfer partners feel too good to be true, and I don't think their multipliers will be optimal. Didn't even bother switching Rakuten to Build. I'm still on MR. I can see that one both ways. Next data point. So if you're wondering, the categories have been released for the Chase Freedom and Freedom Flex for the first quarter of next year. We've got Norwegian Cruise Lines, American Heart Association, and dining. Boy, I find American Heart Association, Norwegian Cruise Lines to be kind of weird. I think Matt Clausen described this as pay-to-play categories where you know there's a little kickback of some kind. American Heart Association obviously is a nonprofit, so you're going to be making a donation. Norwegian Cruise Lines, I can kind of see that, but neither of those excite me whatsoever. Dining, meh. I mean, you know, City Nights, I can get 6X. I'd rather get that. You can get 5% cash back on dining if you use your PayPal debit card that way. So 5X on Chase is a little bit better, so I'd probably use it. I guess I'll use it, if I don't have anything better going on, like working on a sign-up bonus or city nights or something like that, but it's not that exciting. I do wonder if you go to a place like Cracker Barrel. DEM says, non-chase player here as well. I haven't had a chase card in over a decade. Interesting. Yama Karim says, Asian stores in the U.S. don't take Amex. Okay. Yuri says, dining is great. It will be 7x on dining. That must be a built card prediction. Dem agrees. If you have Chase Freedom Flex. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm picking up what you're laying down here. Okay. So Chase is normally 3x on dining, and the way that codes on their card is 1x base plus 2x. So for some reason, when it's one of those base category type cards, they keep the 2 extra and add the 5 on top of it. So it's really 7x on dining. So I change my mind. I takes it back what I just said. That actually is really good. 7x on dining Chase if you have the Freedom Flex. Sleepy Rod says, hello, is this Mr. Roz or Dr. Doog? Or Cougar is how was it Christmas? Kugalos. I'm in a Mr. Roz mood right now. That's why I'm reclining on the couch because my back is hurting. I'm staying in a vacation rental I booked through Capital One here in Tucson, Arizona, spending time with family. Kugalos. I knew what you meant. Nick says, at first I wasn't impressed with Freedom Flex Q1, but then I remembered I got a Disney World trip in Q1, so I'll actually make a good amount of points off of it. Hey, there you go. QC Man says, second straight year with Norwegian Cruise Lines. There's definitely some kind of kickback, or Jamie Dimon loves them. It's got to be a kickback. Vincent says, after what happened to Mesa, I'd worry about going all in on earning built points. Yeah, I have some worries as well. If you've got a plan to earn them and burn them real fast, I might, but I wouldn't hang on to them. Yuri says, I'll transfer everything from built to Alaska. There you go. Earn those points, burn those points. There's an aspect of this game that is risk-taking, taking a reasonable amount of risk within reason. Next data point here. I don't even remember what it is. Oh, this is a comment I made on one of Matt Clausen's videos. So Matt was giving his prediction for Wells Fargo and what's coming in the next year. And he kept referencing something like, well, we've been expecting the Autograph Beyond for a long time. So I asked this question. Has Wells Fargo ever publicly acknowledged anything about the Autograph Beyond other than a trademark application? Is it even coming, or are we all assuming? To which Matt responded, I want to say more, but not yet. To which I responded, aha, we all knew you were a Wells Fargo executive secretly. Okay, not really, but it did kind of play into the stereotype of Matt being a shill / insider / mole of some kind for Wells Fargo. So just a quick reminder that you can support me here online by dropping a super sticker or super chat. If you drop exactly $1.49, you get 1,000 Dugroz points, which may or may not have great transfer partners. We're working on it. Also, you can join as a channel member, Dugroz Diehard. There's a link to the tip jar, which is a way to support me anonymously or for a higher net amount off of YouTube in the description box. Yuri says, maybe JAL. Okay. DEM says, I would not hoard built points. You might get Mesa'd. DEM says, Alaska's more versatile than JAL. JAL did have a few interesting use cases I spotted. New Again says, I just don't see any value in Chase anymore. They nerfed Boost, and you can't earn MR points from subs or any cards. Hot take, nerfed US bar is better than anything Chase has. Ooh, that is a hot take, especially not even knowing what the transfer partners will be for US Bank. So I'm going to defend Chase a little bit here just for the sake of discussion, iron sharpening iron and all that. Good quality disagreement is very helpful. It's one of my favorite ways to learn, as long as it's done in good faith. So I see Chase as being valuable for a couple reasons. One is if you are willing to engage in a little bit of shenanigans with the rotating categories, which I am, and I can at least generally get close to maxing out twice a year on 4 different Freedoms or Freedom Flex cards. That's 15,000 points each times 4, 3,000, 6,000 times 5. That's 30,000 points. If it's something like dining, even more than that. So that's almost like a sign-up bonus without actually having to meet a sign-up bonus. And then the other thing worth considering is Hyatt. So I think transfers to Hyatt make it very worthwhile. If that's useful and appealing to you, which it may or may not be. And then if the Aeroplan caravan continues and you're someone like myself who has a travel style of wanting to either be close to or at net zero out of pocket, and you're looking for ways to cover things like tours, ferries, buses, boats, the Hoover Dam parking lot, those kind of things, no better way than Aeroplan. In fact, it's getting to the point now where it's really the only predictable way to get the joy of 1.5. So there's my small defense of Hyatt. Yuri says JAL is only available on built at 1-to-1. Capital One is, JAL is the only one available built 1-to-1. Capital One's less than 1-to-1. That's true. QBC Man says, I wonder if Chase will have groceries later this year, or if it won't be a category this year since it's usually Q1. I'd be surprised if it's not later this year. Yuri wants to book Latam via JAL. I get that. Fleet says, next time Built gives a transfer bonus to Hyatt, BA, Atmos, or Hilton equals full speculative cash out time. I read that wrong. Next time Built gives a transfer bonus to Hyatt, British Airlines, Atmos, or Hilton. Have they ever done a transfer bonus to Hyatt? I don't think they have. British, I think they have. Atmos, I don't remember. Hilton, I think they did, but it starts at 1-to-1, so even if they double that, it's still 1-to-2, which is no better than American Express. But I think what maybe Fleet is saying is I want to get out just because, too much risk. New Again says, still no transfer price for Dugroz points. He must be a consultant for U.S. Bank. Well, we have Bennigan's. We have Vacasa, but only in West Virginia and Iowa. And we have Tractor Supply Company. We're working on Casey's. The problem is right now they want to negotiate to like a 5-to-3 transfer ratio. Nobody wants that. QC Man says Chase co-branded cards are pretty good. Yeah, like Aeroplan. Yuri says to Fleet, there will never be a transfer bonus from Built to Hyatt. Also not to Atmos. Fleet says, a boy has a right to dream. I agree with that. Source King is glad that I referenced the Hoover Dam parking lot. It was a great use of my Aeroplan points. The El Puma says, I'm here. Good to see you. Thanks for feeding the algorithm. 65 people on board. I think we briefly crossed 70 and then dropped back down, so keep smashing that button. Stacy says, speaking of groceries, what $0 annual fee Chase card has groceries at 3x for an entire year with the sub? Was it the Chase Freedom Unlimited or the Chase Freedom Flex? I think it was, the Chase Freedom Unlimited had 3x on everything for the first year at one point. I think the Freedom, one of them offered 5x on grocery for a full year. Dem says, I like Latam, very comparable to Delta. Nick says, if PayPal was only for 1 month on the Freedom Flex, I wouldn't be surprised if grocery isn't the rotating category this year. Yuri says, they did the bonus to Atmos when they introduced it as a transfer partner. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. I've got a cup of water all the way on the other side of the room. It's like 5 steps away, so I got to get that. Excuse me. Dad noises intensify. And if the host of this video is watching, I am using a coaster. You're welcome. QCNet says, has anybody been able to successfully use PayPal in-store at CVS? Not in a while. I did in the past, but I think they have nerfed that, at least with gift cards. A lot of people said you go to buy like a prepaid Visa gift card and you could use the show to pay feature with PayPal only to cover the fee, not the purchase itself. I think we're talking about the show to pay feature, which basically was kind of a backdoor way to buy gift cards at CVS with your Chase Freedom Flex. Yuri says, I compared Latam J and American Airlines J. I like American Airlines J better since it's the 1-2-1 configuration versus 2-2-2. And Nick says, Stacy, I believe the Freedom Unlimited has an in-branch offer for $300 per 5% back on grocery and gas. Thank you for clarifying. Yuri confirmed it does not work anymore at CVS. Thank you. Appreciate that. Next Dugroz data point here. Douglas, your cash back is on its way. So just another example of how I earn a little bit here and there. Aeroplan had I think it was 7% back or something like that on Aldi purchases, and I figured out how to maximize it and got $3.85 statement credit. At Aldi, Aldi's a grocery store, and the Aeroplan card earns 3x in grocery stores. So I earned 3x Aeroplan plus $3.85 cash. So hey, that's better than a smoosh in the nose. And then this is kind of interesting. So I have the grandfathered Wells Fargo Visa signature card, and it used to have golden ponies on it, and then they replaced it with just the very generic like Wells Fargo mauve red color and nothing else on it. So I had speculated that after I activated the new card, waited a few months, then went to the card design studio, they would give me the option to change card designs. This is one of the designs. It's not quite right, but it's a lot closer. So I'm trying to decide, should I change my Golden Ponies card to this? They're not really golden, although the sunset's kind of golden. Or should I try to upload my own picture? My fear is it's been a long time since I've done a customized card design. It's not a lot of places offer it anymore. But when I've done it in the past, it comes out like super pixelated. So is it better to use their own artwork? I don't know. Let me know what your opinion is on that. Maybe Filmo will watch this later and can really give an opinion. And then a couple more personal data points. So I have an alternative channel called Dugroz Nostalgia that is for things that aren't directly related to points and miles, but I decided to put my travel log over there for my family's trip to Europe last summer. So this is not the points and miles stuff. This is just the what we did stuff. Go down in the description box of this video and you'll find a link to the first one in the series. It is a 3-point series, 3-part series. It's called something like 12 Days in Europe as an American Dad. ChatGPT thought that would be a really good title. Part 1 was York in England. Part 2 is in Northern Wales. And then part 3 is in Vienna, Austria. So find that link, check out all 3 parts. And if you would be kind enough to subscribe to Dugroz Nostalgia, I would appreciate it. That's kind of my secondary channel, not to gum up the algorithm. Because let's face it, nobody follows me because I'm an amazing travel influencer. But hey, maybe you like what I have to say now and then. Let me catch up on comments here. QC Man says the 5% gas and groceries has been on both cards, but it's better on the Freedom Flex because you can stack it all the way up to 9% in certain quarters. New Again says to QC Man, yes, Chase has 2 to 4 co-branded cards, but after that, no reason to bank with them. If you want points or cash back or both, they're not it. Yuri says, I still have a few Aldi offers I can use. I already bought a bunch of gift cards at Aldi with 7%. And thank you, Yuri. I don't remember if it was you, Yuri, or someone else, or a mix of people, but I'll thank you anyway. Somebody let me know that Aldi carries third-party gift cards now. So when I stopped at Aldi's, they did have a good smattering of those. I don't think up until about 2 years ago they had any. So that's good to know. DM says, I'm pretty sure my last business class Latam flight was 121. Excuse me, 121. Yuri says, they continue to extend those Aldi offers every time. Today's the last day again. John says, Dugroz in lounge mode. Back, I had to step away for a bit. Yeah, the place where I'm doing my live stream here, John, there's not like a desk in this room, so I have to use a little table, and it's just really uncomfortable. So I decided to put my laptop on the table and lounge on the couch. So this is Leisure Dugroz right here. Oh, hey, and look, Mike Newland, my benefactor's here, and he comes through and drops 20 memberships. That's just as good as a $60 super chat. Celebrate, celebrate. We got a sideways celebration here. I can do that a little better. Celebrate, celebrate. Thank you, Mike. Boy, I really appreciate your generosity. You are too kind. AZ Fox, known as Mojo, arrives and says good morning. Yuri says Aldi carries third-party gift cards only in November and December, which is now. Oh, okay. I got it. Thank you for clarifying that. Nick says 20. Count them 20. Go, Mike. John says that makes sense. There you go at DEM. Awesome. John knows that Mike's comes through. And QC Man drops 1 reports membership. Celebrate, celebrate. Thank you, QC Man. I really appreciate that as well. Boy, you guys have been really generous today. Thank you. There's also a tip jar link if you don't want to go through YouTube directly. Down in the description box. All right, let's look at some other stuff here. The Capital One Saver. That's a card that I picked up. Oh, when was that? Early November? Something like that? I don't remember. But I have to spend $500 to get the $200 bonus, and I hit it. I spent $504.79. That was before we went on this trip. So I've gone to Wendy's, I've gone to Gaslight Theater, I've gone to Fry's twice. So I not only nailed the bonus, I went well above and beyond the bonus. So that $200 should be coming my way now. Something else kind of interesting on the Saver is when I signed up for it, it had this $100 travel credit through their travel portal. You can see here my credit limit's $30,000 minus my $200 that I had in use. It said, your $100 credit expires soon. Be sure to use your $100 travel credit if you haven't already. Redeemed by no later than November 20th, 2026. Their definition of soon and mine are not exactly the same, but I guess I appreciate the reminder. Maybe give me that reminder like every 3 months or something along those lines. You know how everyone always says that when you open a Capital One card, at least a personal card and some, but not all, of their business cards, it pulls from all 3 credit bureaus? They are right. So I went and checked my credit report. I use Credit Karma, which shows Experian and TransUnion. Sure enough, right there, Experian, TransUnion. And then I went out and checked Equifax also, which I don't remember how I accessed it, but I found it. Yep, right there, Capital One. So yeah, Capital One does pull all 3 credit bureaus still, at least for the Saver card it does. Catch up on comments, and then I'll see what's going on here. New Again replies to John's comment. Dugroz is rebranding. It's a luxury channel now, where he will edit his sitting arrangements to give us more value up to 1.75 Dugroz cents per point. Absolutely. The swankier the lounging arrangement. Look at this artwork. This is like, this is the kind of thing you'd find in the Louvre right here. This lamp costs more than my annual salary. Also, when you said the edit, it made me think like I could just go from the edit property to the edit property lounging. Hello, welcome to Dugroz Reports. I'm at an edit property in Vienna, Austria today. I'm going to have to get a lot more super chats if we're going to make that happen. Nick says on a different topic, did Iowa State hire a new head coach? They did. They hired him so quickly that no one had heard of him, and it came out of nowhere. It didn't really come out of nowhere, but from a fan's perspective, it did. It was like, all right, well, I guess Matt Campbell going to Penn State is official. All right, well, let's type up our list of potential candidates. They hired a new head coach. Huh? Jimmy Rogers. I've never heard of Jimmy Rogers, but yeah, he was the head coach at Washington State, and now he's our head coach. I have no impressions. QC Man says, did you plan to cash out the $200 to transfer to Venture Miles? You know what the great thing is? I don't have to make that decision until I'm ready to use it. So I'm probably going to just keep it. If there was a situation where I had to get $200 cash, I had no other choice, I would use it. But otherwise, I almost knocked my computer over. I think I'd rather transfer it over to Venture Miles. So I'm just going to wait and see. DEM says, thanks, Mike. P.S. I'm sure everyone else appreciates your membership generosity. It encourages channel growth. In my opinion, follow up to yesterday. Oh, thanks, man. Thank you to Mike also. And only Dugroz channel. Okay, not quite. I'm fully clothed here. I'm wearing jeans and a polo. You've got a watch on. Next data point. Where were we? Okay. This is an email I got from my utility company last week. Dear Value, the name of the company isn't actually Trash. I just replaced their logo with the word trash because I don't want you to know which specific Des Moines suburb I live in. Dear valued customer, we hope this message finds you well. We want to inform you about an important change to your payment processing procedures that will affect your automatic payment going forward. We greatly value your business and want to ensure transparency. Yeah. Starting on January 1st, we will be implementing a small card processing fee for all credit card transactions. This fee is necessary due to the rising costs associated with card processing. I don't think I buy that because I think credit card processing fees have been the same for a long time. I just think with this new Visa, MasterCard settlement, companies are starting to think about it now. We understand this might raise concerns. We want to assure you that we accept other payment options that can help avoid this fee entirely. And then I like how it gives you these options. You can pay in person by physically driving to our office. You can send a check in the mail, or you can pay over the phone. Now, I think they do have an EFT option. But this is kind of a bummer. So what I did was I reached out to the company. I just replied to this email and I said, can you tell me exactly what the fee is? And they said, good afternoon. The charge will be $1.35 per payment quarterly. Now, normally I think to myself, a flat fee is good because you can gamify it. Unfortunately, with this particular utility company, the garbage removal company in my town, they don't let you pay in advance. You set up one card in your account. That's all that's allowed. And it's auto pay and it deducts on the first day of each quarter. And it's about $42 per quarter. So as a percentage, this comes out to a little over 3%, like 3.3%. Right now, I'm using the US Bank Cash Plus card, which gives me 5% cash back. So it's still a net positive. I'll pay 3% to get 5%. But man, that really stinks. It took 3% away from my cashback earnings on that particular utility company. Now, admittedly, $42 a quarter isn't that much. I think it's going up to like 46 next quarter. But man, everybody's starting to charge a fee for everything, which makes me feel like other than sign-up bonuses and shenanigans, the game is getting harder to play. Already read that. DEM says, Dugroz is going to come out in a silk robe, silk slippers, and a long pipe now. New Again says, Chase didn't target me for the 175 CSR sub offer. Bruh, I never even had a Sapphire product. Is CSR worth a 125 sub? In the first year, yeah, it's absolutely worth it. Vincent says, one of these days, Dugroz needs to come out in a WAPA card t-shirt and gold Superman chain. Who would I look like if I did that? Gold grill. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so now I'm going to transition to something completely different. And now for something completely different. I want an opinion from you guys. So let me know what your opinion is on this subject. Good idea or terrible idea. And this is not a joke. This is something I'm actually considering doing. So you know that I have something of a unique travel style and a unique point earning style in our community. So in terms of not point earning, but point usage is somewhat unique. You know, I like to hit the net zero, make travel pay for itself. You know, if I buy a hamburger while I'm traveling, I need to account for that, make sure nothing comes out of my family budget whatsoever. Yes. But also, it seems like the places I want to go to are different than what a lot of people go to. A lot of people, when they travel, they go to a major metropolitan city or area and just take Uber or Lyft everywhere. And I do a whole lot of rental cars. I'm not opposed to large cities. I like Washington, D.C., but I really like getting out into the country. Even when we went to the United Kingdom, the first time we went to London, then we went to Wales. It was cool to see London. I'm glad I did it once, but if I went back, I'd rather go to somewhere rural like Wales. And when we went back this year, we did go to Wales. We went to York, which was a smaller city. I don't know what the population of York is, but it feels like it's only maybe 60,000 people. So sometimes I have kind of a hard time describing the kind of places that I want to go to. As Ian is saying here, I like to get out into the country. Isn't there a song called, I don't remember what the song's called, but the group is Canned Heat. It's like, you know, I'm going out the country. Where do you want to go? So yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to get out into the country. So what I've thought about doing, not as a regular segment, but maybe now and then, or like 2 to 4 times a year, is using AI generated images to make images of the kind of places that I would like to go, and then just comment on them, so that, for 2 reasons. One is it's fun to mess around with AI and just let the imagination take you somewhere. 2, so people understand the kind of things that I like to do and can look for patterns. And it might help some people know if they want to be a fan of the channel or not. And then 3, you guys can make suggestions to me. So there are times where I know the kind of thing I want to do, but I don't know if that place actually exists in real life or not. So by using an AI generated image, I can call it places that don't exist. And you can say, the closest place to this image is Cleveland, Ohio, or something like that. Probably won't be Cleveland. So let me just give you some examples here of what I mean. These are AI generated images that I've made. Some have people in the foreground, like, a tourist looking at the thing. Some are just the places themselves. Will help if I share the right tab. There we go. Okay, so this first one, I'm thinking this is probably like in the UP of Michigan or something like that. It's kind of mountainous, but not super mountainous. I love that clear lake. So I want to go to this place, even though it doesn't exist in real life. So if somebody can tell me what this looks like, a place that you've actually been, or that kind of feel. I like lots of green. I don't need big mountains. I like kind of small mountains. I like blue skies, sweeping vistas. If my wife goes with me, she likes that kind of thing. Vincent says the countryside in Austria is so peaceful and beautiful. Is that what this reminds you of? I've been to Vienna, and because my family is from the western part of Austria, I really need to get back over there. Ian says you'd love the Dolomites in spring. I don't know what the Dolomites are. Care to clarify? So there's one example of the kind of place I would like to go. Here's another one. This one has people in it. I'm not really sure where these people are. They're in Washington, D.C., some sort of cemetery, holding their toddler in kind of a funny way. But there's a monument, like a miniature Lincoln Memorial in the background. So I'd like to go here. Is there any place like this that's not Washington, D.C.? I know, like, there's some U.S. cemeteries, like in Europe from World War II, Normandy, and that kind of stuff. Ian says, boom, nailed it. The Dolomites in northern Italy. Yuri says the Dolomite Mountain. Okay, well, I'll have to keep that in mind. Let me screenshot this here so I can research it. So that first picture I have, did that look kind of like the Dolomites? I'll bring it back here. Does that look like the Dolomites? Hopefully it does. Maybe I'll try to get there. I've actually spotted a few I prefer hotels that are in northern Italy. Sleepy Rod definitely wants to see me at the Maldives. Okay, well, that's probably not on my list. Here's one. I think this was supposed to be me. This would be like me, the movie star version of me. If they ever did a made-for-TV movie, this is what I'd look like. Typed in like 40-some-year-old bearded dude with glasses wearing flannel. So he's somewhere where there's like rolling hills. There's an Airbnb or a small luxury hotel or just a small boutique hotel. There's a balcony you can go out on, and I bet it's about 52 degrees Fahrenheit. You got some mountains in the background. There's some sheep. Now this looks like it could be in Wales, possibly, or Scotland or Ireland or something like that. So that's kind of a place I would like to go. DEM says the prior picture reminded of a cemetery I visited in Buenos Aires. Ben Bradshaw says, thank you to QC Man for generosity. Thank you, Doug, for entertaining content. Awesome. You must have gotten the membership. DM says, although that was a bit more crowded. Okay, the cemetery in Buenos Aires. So yeah, that's an option. Again, is this kind of content helpful where I make a place, you just tell me what it's like. It helps you understand where I want to go. I can't do it regularly, but if I did a standalone video about places I would like to visit, or I could do it as a separate live stream every 4 months, is that interesting, or is this just kind of like a novelty one time and really doesn't carry at all? How about this one? I'm not really sure where this is. This started as just like a rock formation and then added a background. There was a person standing on the rock, but he looked really weird, so I took him out. Added a cow. This could also be in Scotland, or I think of like the northern part of the United Kingdom, like the Isle of Skye or the Hebrides or Orkney or something like that. There's a little island between England and Ireland called the Isle of Man, and interestingly the capital is called Douglas, I believe. I like to think it kind of looks like that, but I don't know if that's realistic or not. They do have like 3 cottages.com cottages there. QC Man likes it. Ian says this could be Montana or Wyoming. Yeah, you're right, it could be, although I don't think they have that kind of cattle. Australia, maybe, I don't know. DEM likes the idea. I think it's pretty cool. These are nice images that don't feel like AI slop. I'd try. Ian sent me a Dolomites photo on Discord. Thank you. DEM says Scottish Highlands. That's kind of what popped into my head. something like that. So apparently I need to go to Scotland or Ireland again. And then the last one here, see if you can envision this. We've got 3 random people here in some place. It looks kind of cold. They didn't dress very warmly. We've got a moose in the background. We've got some mountains, some trees. Maybe these 3 buddies rented a cabin together and are just went out to the front yard and set up their cell phone on a selfie stick and decided to take a picture, something like that. So let me know if you think this is a good idea or not, if you would want to do something along those lines, if you would like to see the Dugroz report places that aren't real. Ian thinks this looks like the Swiss Alps. Yeah, I need to go there too. Mike points out there's 74 people on board, but only 40 likes. So yeah, feel free to message me directly. Put a comment down below if you're watching after the fact. Do you want to see me commenting on places that aren't real? Or Northern Japan. Hey, that's where... who is the guy from Street Fighter 2 that is a sumo wrestler? Honda. Not Piston Honda. That's Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Something Honda. He's from Northern Japan. He's a sumo wrestler, lives way up in the mountains. So maybe I should go visit him. All right. Well, that brings all of my pre-planned content to an end here. I am going to go ahead and take my normal bathroom break. Oh, yeah, Honda. Let me catch up on comments before I got into the whole like places that aren't real thing. Responding to the thing related to the trash company imposing a 3% fee. Businesses act like processing cash and check payments incur no cost whatsoever. Yeah, I don't really like that either. I don't remember if I acknowledged this or not, so I'll do it again. QC Man gifts 1 Dugroz Reports membership. Celebrate, celebrate. Thank you so much, QC Man. I appreciate it. All right. So I am going to step away. You can keep typing stuff. You can talk about your favorite Street Fighter 2 character. That's something that I would recommend. And you can talk about where you think I would like to visit. Let's enjoy some copyright-free music while I go use the bathroom. Might be just a touch longer because all the way on the other side I have to get to. So enjoy this. Oop, that's a sound effect. Enjoy this lo-fi music. I'll be back in about 3 minutes. Hello. I have returned. I'm going to adjust my position yet again. Let's kill the music here. Adjust my position yet again. I'm going to put a great big cushion on my lap and hold my laptop on my lap because, again, my back is bothering me, so I need to shift positions a little better. Okay. You probably don't want to stare at the lamp, so let me kill that light. There we go. That's better. Okay. Thank you to all 68, 69 of you who decided to stay on board here. Let's see where we are. So, all right. David Williams said the character I was thinking of from Street Fighter 2 is E Honda. Vincent says the Rockies. Yeah, that could work. Brian knows it's E Honda. DEM knows it's E Honda. Vincent references his 100-hand slap. Throwback, says DEM. Mike Newland says short sleeves in the snow. Like, hey, well, I mean, some people, like that kind of stuff. Brian Max says if you go to Japan, visit Nintendo. Okay. Ian says Nintendo Land or Nintendo headquarters. What kind of Nintendo situation are we talking about here? Brian says I was thinking the Nintendo Museum in Kyoto. Sleepy says, are we getting a Dugroz 2026 credit card predictions video? I don't know. I feel like I've got all kinds of stuff to do around the new year because I usually do a summary of like the state of my cards and like how they're doing and my points and miles and that kind of stuff. And then very early in the new year, I will do like my war chest, how many points I have and that kind of stuff. Calderd says, picture 1 looks like Crater Lake in Oregon. That would be this one right here. Yeah, I can see that. That's cool. Ian says, dang, I'm not going to Kyoto this time, but I'll add it to the map for next time. Did I accidentally skip one? No, I think I got it all. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Okay, so let's talk about the community tab post and what was shown. And you were supposed to guess where this picture or pictures were taken. So we've got this picture right here. That's a picture of me. Looks like my beard is pretty black. So this must have been before I started going gray. And then this picture here, some sort of mass transit or public transit device or something along those lines. Let me grab my phone. Where did I put my phone? In my pocket. Grab my phone and I'll read the community tab questions from last night. I don't know if anybody listed anything other than what the picture was about, but we're about to find out here. So every Friday night, usually between like 5 p.m. and 9 p.m., I will post a community tab post, and it will show a picture or two. You can guess where the picture is taken, and also just ask me anything you want me to ask. Okay. Herr Muntz said, it is too late to guess after Christmas. I got so busy combing the desert that I forgot to see the post. That's okay. No problem. Luke D. Johnson says, I believe you're in Morgantown, West Virginia, and it appears you're writing the West Virginia University PRT, which is Personal Rapid Transit System. Luke nails it again. Nick 1828 says, country roads take me home to the place I belong, Morgantown, West Virginia. Bob Travel says, the little yellow train of the Pyrenees, or Le Petite Train, Jaune, as it's known in France. Nope, good guess, though. Down on a mission says, Morgantown, West Virginia, also would love to ride that someday. So let me show you the real picture here, unedited. So I did grab this picture. It is my picture, but I used AI to scrub out the name West Virginia and the logo on the side because that would be a dead giveaway. So in Morgantown, West Virginia, they have this public transit system. If you're looking out the window, it kind of looks like this, like train tracks, but it's really just like a designated elevated road that these little tiny dudes drive on. It's a car kind of like this. They have tires just like a personal vehicle, and it's got seats for like 6 to 8 people and maybe standing room for a couple more. So it's sort of like a little shuttle that takes you around the airport, except it takes you around the whole town. I was there in 2022 or 2021. I don't remember which one. At that time, it still used quarters, like 25 cents will take you anywhere. It was built back in the 70s, I think, because Morgantown is very hilly. So they put it in to help the students of West Virginia get around. It was also meant to be like a prototype. The federal government paid some money towards it, and it never took off anywhere else, but they still use it. Arnelli asks if I was visiting the West Virginia campus for a road game for Iowa State. Nope, I just went for the sake of going. Nick says it's kind of like the People Mover at Disney World. Oh, yeah, it kind of is like that, although I don't really remember what the People Mover at Disney World is exactly like. I apologize. I'm not up on that. All right, so I think that's it. If anybody has any last-minute questions they want to ask me, by all means. I wouldn't say now's your last chance, but we're getting pretty close to that last chance. Ian says, I had my heart broken in Morgantown once. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that. Was this a romantic relationship or a sporting event? Could be either one. Let me go over the people who have donated to the cause so far today. John from John's Credit and Travel drops a $2 super chat. Tom Graber gifted 1 membership. Vincent celebrated 16 months of membership. George Rommel gives $4.99. DEM likewise gave $4.99. Filmo celebrates 25 months of channel membership. Dad on a Mission celebrates 12 months of membership. QC Man celebrates 21 months of membership. Mike donated 20 memberships. That's just as good as a $60 super chat. And then QC Man donated 1. Then a little bit later donated another 1. So thank you so much to everyone. If we go over to the tip jar so far today, Screw YouTube, which I think was Ian, donated $3. MR, known as Tipper, gave $20, and Juan Garcia gave $5. So thank you, everyone. I really appreciate that. Ian points out that Filmo, dang, 23 months, but Ian himself has been a member for 14 months, which we thank. And as far as the heartbroken comment, it was real college love, not a sporting event. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up right there because that's all I have to say. So thank you so much for everyone watching. Lord willing, next week I'll be back in my normal studio at my house in Iowa, so I won't have to be moving around or lounging strangely on couches or anything like that. Oh, did you want to see the inside of the rental here? It's not in great shape because this is our second to last day, but I'll just show you real quick. So this is sort of the front room, which is like a den with a couch, a window. That should be a TV, but it's not. The actual TV is there. Oddly enough, we're doing almost everything at my in-laws' house, which is within walking distance. There's a closet you're not allowed to use. There's the front door. All right, turn around now. And there is the combined kitchen / living room. Like I said, it's not real. Tripped over a suitcase. It's not really an Airbnb. It was a rental through Capital One. There's a TV on the wall. There's the dining room table, which we haven't used at all. Sofa. Back in that area, there are 2 bedrooms. One has bunk beds and one has a queen-size bed. Over here is like the actual desk nook, but the lighting is terrible, and people were out here this morning. I thought it was rude to force people to not walk behind me. And then there's a walk-through bathroom, another bedroom, another bedroom. So, yeah, 2 queen-size bed, 1 set of bunk beds, and 1 king-size bed. So that is how we're going to leave it for today. QC Man wants to know how the dry heat in Arizona is. Well, it's nicer than Iowa. And then Mike Newland says, I'm a poor 9 months. That's all right. No problem. All right. Thanks, everyone. May your spending be frugal and may your points be plenteous. Have a good one.